This is the Erin Cruz Show. Politics for the people and by the people. With your host, Erin Cruz.
Hi there, everybody. This is Erin Cruz, the Erin Cruz Show, Straight Talk with Erin. So I am a bit late. I think I'm about an hour late, and you may even actually still be seeing a delay. I've been out of town. Many of you know I went to London, and I had a wonderful trip, and I have a lot to report. Good things and, well, difficult things that we want to talk about this next week. But in any case, what we want to get to tonight is the weekly recap. Now, what we have is we have that the Senate has come up with a new rendition of the health care bill in terms of some amendments that are also offered. Senator Cruz and Mike Lee, they both offered up some good options, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think it's important that we have the right information, the correct information, good information. And so what they did is it basically, the new option for the amendment, it leaves existing plans on the market, but it gives new options so that people can purchase far more affordable health insurance. It will enable a lot more people to be able to afford buying health insurance. That's what Senator Cruz said when he told The Hill and reported to The Hill on Thursday afternoon. So that sounds good. Now, a lot of people aren't liking that, but the thing is that we aren't going to always get everything that we like. And we need to remember that, you know, just like Trump said, he said, look, this is a starting point for negotiations. This isn't the end. This isn't the be all, end all. This is just our starting point. And I think that's important to remember, that we can go ahead and even after we pass something that's going to go ahead and adjust the market so that way there are more options, that premiums will go ahead and ease, that we can start seeing a little bit more positive shakeup in terms of what consumers are being offered, that the citizenry will be able to, have some benefit take back from this whole ordeal. So I think it's a move in the right direction. The CBO is going to go ahead and offer their report coming up. And then they're looking at a vote maybe next week. The other thing I wanted to go ahead and talk about is the border. So now we have, not only have constituents turned up the heat in terms of the Senate and the House and pushing them to basically get something to us for the health care bill and health care legislation revisions by August recess, which is great because, I didn't think we were going to get anything by year end. So, that not only is that just completely awesome, I think the Senate and even the House representatives are getting the point. Look, it's coming up to election time. And you know what? Citizens are just fed up. And we ran on a certain, platform, and now we need to pay up. Okay, and I think they're getting a bit of the message. And one of the reasons why I say that is because when I take a look here, now I want all of you to go and look for yourself. Numbers USA came out with some interesting information, and I really like their platform. Numbers USA, for those who don't know, is basically an immigration kind of a watchdog. They do some research. They provide data. They give you background grading sheets. They basically give you data, and it's a lot less partisan politics, if you will, that we get on the media. So I think that's a positive move. So, but basically what they did is they released a report today that basically, I'll read it. They released a report that the Homeland Security spending bill sets aside funding for border security, interior enforcement, and E-Verify. So that's the headline. Okay, so this is a really, really super important move, and I think that many organizations are starting to see that if they don't put up and they don't start, doing what needs to get done, the citizens aren't going to tolerate their inaction anymore. That they can't afford, they're going to lose their jobs. be it Congress or if you're working in government. We're not playing. So what this bill basically includes is it looks like it includes 1,000 additional immigration and customs enforcement agents and nearly 5,000 additional detention beds. Now, a lot of people might not really like the way that sounds. 5,000 detention beds. It doesn't sound good, but what it's doing is that's allowing more room, more ability for these agents to facilitate processing of illegals and others who are caught here in the country within our borders and process them. Okay, they have to have a means by which to bring in more people, more space, as well as beds, to go ahead and start processing people to send them back. I wish they'd send it back with an invoice, but I don't think we're going to get that one yet, not for some time. In any case, the other thing that they also report on is that, now this is pretty good. I think you're going to really like this, and this is why I said I think you really should read this, is because basically, and I know some of you watchdogs who are freedom-based watchdogs, you don't like the E-Verify because it's invasive, okay, of citizens. But I think that it's important that for people who are here on permanent residency status, people who are here on certain visa programs, I think that we have to have a mechanism by which we really track them, because right now it's mainly paper pushing. And when employers hire somebody that is not a citizen and is work able, now this is what I would love to see, is that people who are not a citizen but are able bodies who want to work while they're here and have the right to work while they're here, that we put them in the system so that way employers can verify that they are in fact employable. I don't know that I agree with, having everybody be part of that system, but nonetheless, so they basically allotted $131 million for continued improvement and expansion of the E-Verify system, which is good news if they spend it right, yes? So the other thing was that the House, $1.6 billion that the House appropriations have set aside for fencing along the U.S.-Mexican border, okay, they've went ahead and basically that funding is going to help repair fencing near San Diego and build approximately 60 miles of new border barriers in Texas. And this is the thing, is that one of the things that people don't understand is we have in many places in Southern California, we have a three-part or a three-segment wide, okay, and kind of a multifaceted fencing system that goes across the southern border, especially in California, okay, and in San Diego specifically. We spent a lot of money on that. And so what we have there is a comprehensive fence, but it needs to be retrofitted in some areas and maintained, obviously. But the biggest issue is not in California, and many people don't understand this. The biggest issue and border breach we have on the southern end is in Texas. And Texas needs to address this issue, okay, by whatever means necessary. Now, one of the biggest things that I think has cut down on the fact that we've had less border breaches is the fact that these people are getting the message Trump isn't going to play. The people aren't going to pay. And you can't keep hopping the fence because it's not going to fly. And you're not going to get amnesty. And I think the quicker that they learn that is the quicker it's going to get shut down. But in any case, so what they're doing is $1.6 billion was allotted to kind of repair fencing and go towards Texas. And Texas is kind of like the meat and taters place. We need to make sure and get that border secure there. And then also, too, the one thing that they're not addressing too much right now is the northern border. And I would love to see Trump, and I would love to see some of these people who are, in the position for Homeland Security and maintaining our borders and relations with the northern and southern nations. I would love to see them address the northern border because we have so many people who've come through there, and it's not really ever talked about, okay? And it needs to be addressed. It really does. But you can go ahead and read this information on Numbers USA. I think that you'll find it very, very helpful. And then the other thing is that, I think that they addressed the NDAA, and I think that it's important that you go ahead and you read about that, because that's an important piece of legislation that needs to be looked at as well. The last one that I want to talk about, which is also dealing with our border, is the minors. Okay, what they call the DACA. Okay, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, and I think you have to go on Numbers USA and read about it. Okay, it's important. It's vital that you understand the comprehensive programs that have been funded, that are going to be funded, that are, I mean, we're spending billions and billions of dollars. We're not talking 1.6. I'm telling you, $1.6 billion on Texas and San Diego fence is chump change. Chump change compared to what we're spending nationally on immigration and border customs, you name it. And like I mentioned yesterday in my show, I totally think that people are not getting kind of I mean, some people do understand it, but people are not really fully understanding the impact of immigration in these United States of America. That as I went through customs yesterday, and not yesterday, but as I talked about it yesterday, as I went through customs last week, I didn't recognize my country anymore, because, it's the line for citizens of the United States. I was a minority. And I'm going to be quite frank with you. I am not a racist. I am for legal immigration. I am for, coming in the front door, knocking, and saying, hey, I really want to come to the United States. I have things, that I can offer, yada yada. But as I stood in that line and I looked around, I was a minority. And we have let so many people in our borders since the 70s, okay, that we have to be very careful, because we're not just letting in one person or a husband and wife, we're letting in their family, and then we're bringing over more family and more family and more family. And I'm not saying that we can't. I'm just saying that we have to look at the bigger picture here. These other nations, America is fabulous, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the greatest nation on the planet. But people need to start building up their home nations, and it's 2017, and we really need to start, looking at who we're letting in here. And you can listen to last night's show, Political Court, and I go into it in depth, and I go into why, because of the national security risk. Too many people are being processed, and not enough vetting going on, and it's an issue. So you can go ahead and listen to that and hear more about it. But I think it's important. Go on Numbers USA. Take a look at the DACA. Take a look at some of the different reforms that are being offered up, and they also have another good piece in there about the H-2B visas. And I mean, I think it's important as a citizenry, you really have a good information and background on you in terms of the policies and what we're funding, and that way, when you hear the news, commentators go on and on and on the TV, you realize that it's a bunch of hot air. Okay, we're paying in a lot of money to a lot of people to do a lot of things, and what are we getting for it? And blowing off steam on the evening news and talking about rhetoric this, rhetoric. It's for the birds. That's entertainment. Okay, your homework is to look at the real information, which is the reports, which is reading, listening to good data sources. So go ahead and take a look at Numbers USA, at those 4 different pieces of write-ups. I think that you're going to find it really, really informational. and beneficial. All right, and I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to cover those few areas. Let me take a look here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for joining me again, and I'm sorry I was late. Mother's work is never done. So in any case, God bless you, and God bless your family, and you take care.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about the Erin Cruz Show, visit us online at erincruz.com. That's ERINCRUZ.com. Thank you for joining us, and see you at the same time and the same place next week.